In this vast mystery of life, three silent forces guide us: consciousness, body, and food. When consciousness enters the womb, it shapes the body through nourishment. As breath begins, consciousness quietly watches, guiding us, waiting to awaken. Every breath we take, every bite we eat, weaves a connection between body and spirit. A pure breath keeps us alive. A pure body allows consciousness to shine. Our health, our diet, our awareness, they are one sacred circle of life. Through this circle, divine realization becomes possible. The sages taught, before knowing God, know your body. Before touching eternity, purify what sustains you. Food is not just nutrition, it's the bridge between the physical and the divine. When breath is balanced, food is pure, and the mind is still, consciousness begins to rise. It spreads through every cell, merging with the cosmic source. This is the true mystery of life, the harmony of body, food, and consciousness. It's the path to divine awakening within.
This satsang is about the mystery of consciousness, body, and food in life. From the title itself, it seems as if these three, body, consciousness, and food, are entirely different things. But what could be the connection among them? When a child is conceived, consciousness enters the mother in the form of the embryo, and through food, the gradual formation of the body begins. When the body is completely formed, the child takes birth. In that newborn, consciousness remains present in a subtle form. But the moment birth occurs, consciousness becomes concealed and breathing begins in the child. Until breath comes, consciousness holds its domain. As soon as breath enters, consciousness hides within the body. You can feel that there is a very deep relationship between consciousness and breath. As long as the breath continues, one remains unaware of the presence of consciousness. But when the movement of breath begins to slow down, when it becomes weak, and finally when it completely ceases, then consciousness takes full command within the body. Consciousness reaches its full development. The complete blossoming of consciousness is the state of Samadhi or ecstasy. Only upon reaching this state does one experience consciousness directly. Before that, the awareness of consciousness does not arise. This makes it entirely clear how essential the body is for the presence of consciousness. Without the body, consciousness cannot reside. For consciousness to dwell, the body must be completely healthy. If a person is not in a healthy condition, if there are any ailments or disturbances, he cannot realize consciousness. Therefore, to experience consciousness, it is absolutely necessary for one to be in perfect health. For good health, your breathing system must function properly, and your food must be right. This means that your food, water, and air must be pure. Only then is it possible for the body to remain healthy. Even when all these arrangements are proper, it is not guaranteed that the body will always be well, but there is a very high possibility of health if the air is clean, the food is right, and the water is pure. Everything necessary for maintaining the body's health has been fully described in modern medical science. Exercise is also essential for that. You must walk and move about regularly, and if these three things I have mentioned, food, air, and water, are pure, then good health is possible. But in spiritual breath science, our goal is not merely to keep the body healthy. Our purpose is to dwell in that consciousness, to live in that Supreme Being, so that we may have the direct realization of God. For the realization of God, the very first stage is the complete well-being of the body. That is why the physical body is given the highest importance, so that you may remain healthy. If you are completely healthy, then the next essential thing is food. If your food is not proper or not taken in the right quantity, then you cannot sit in awareness of your consciousness, you cannot realize your own self. Just as it is important for food to be pure, it is equally important that its quantity be appropriate. If the quantity of food is excessive, then also the realization of the divine cannot happen. If the quantity is too little, then your body becomes weak, unhealthy, and even then, the realization of God cannot happen. To remain in consciousness and to experience the divine, it is necessary that our food be pure. Mahavir devoted his entire life to the science of food. To summarize briefly, he spent about 20 years studying how much food is necessary for the growth of consciousness. If food intake exceeds that limit, consciousness cannot expand. If food is taken in a lesser amount, the body becomes weak, consciousness contracts, and a stage comes when consciousness leaves the body, and the person is declared dead. That is why food and consciousness have a very deep relationship. No other great sage has worked on this subject with such depth as Mahavir did. To summarize his practice, Mahavir ate food only for 1 year out of 12. In another way of seeing it, he ate food only for 1 month in an entire year. Going even deeper, you will find that he used to eat once in 10 days. He fully demonstrated through experience that if he took food in a lesser quantity than that, his consciousness would begin to fade, and if he took more food, his consciousness would not expand. The research he did in this field was according to his own body's needs, and he clearly said that no general pattern can be made for everyone. Each person has to understand by himself how much food is necessary for him, so that his consciousness can expand, he can enter the state of meditation, and remain united with the divine. There is a vast difference between his time and the present age. In his time, he ate once in 10 days, and that too only the fruit which had ripened and fallen naturally from the tree to the ground. He would accept only that. His explanation was that a fruit which ripens and falls on its own contains complete nourishment and can keep the body healthy. But if you pluck a fruit directly from the tree, it becomes an act of violence, because the tree is a living being. By plucking it, you destroy life, and such a fruit may not have complete nourishment. It may harm the body, and it can become an obstacle in entering the meditative state. He also said that the food one eats is digested properly only in the presence of sunlight. If food is eaten in darkness, when sunlight is absent, digestion faces many obstacles. That is why you may have noticed that followers of Jainism take their meals before sunset. They believe that after sunset, in darkness, germs may enter the food because light is no longer present. But this was not the main reason Mahavir gave. His entire understanding was based on the digestive process of food. He used to eat once in 10 days, and that too only fruit. But in the present age, after 2.5 to 3,000 years, human life has completely changed. We have to earn wealth, maintain families, and fulfill many social duties that must be followed. Therefore, according to Mahavir's method, it is impossible to live in that same way today. He lived in the forests, in the state of deep meditation, and from that life of renunciation, he discovered those disciplines for himself. But while living in the modern world, our goal should still be the same as that of Mahavir, that we may expand our consciousness. However, to live exactly as he lived is almost impossible. Even if we try to live that way, it is not practically possible. Our bodies require a much greater amount of energy, and we have to perform various social responsibilities. For Mahavir, these were not issues at all. Therefore, how much food one should take must be decided by each person according to his own individual need, so that he remains healthy, his consciousness may grow, and he may attain union with the divine. For the one who does not wish to unite with God, who does not wish to expand consciousness, there is no need to follow so many disciplines. If you eat too much, you will feel drowsy, and your consciousness will slip into a dormant state. If you eat too little, you will remain in a state of weakness and laziness. Therefore, for one whose goal is not to reach God, all this discipline is not necessary. But for the one whose goal is to reach the Supreme, who wishes in this very lifetime to realize God while living in society, remaining healthy, and fulfilling all his responsibilities, for him, this path is essential. Keeping this in view, every individual must select his food consciously, what to eat, how much to eat, and when to eat, so that it is easily digested, gives energy to the body, and that energy keeps the body active while the person remains in the state of awareness, using that energy to make efforts for union with the divine. If you eat food according to the needs of your body and the nature of your daily activities, you will observe that most of your time will pass in a state of wakeful awareness. Even while sleeping at night, you will feel internally awake. Drowsiness and heaviness come only when you overeat. If the food you eat gets digested within an hour, the body receives energy quickly, it begins to function efficiently, and you can spend that entire time in contemplation of the divine. Thus, food and consciousness have a very deep connection. Now a natural question may arise in your mind. Consciousness is our soul. It is self-luminous. It does not need any external energy. This is absolutely true. But the soul resides within us in the form of a seed. We can live as that seed, but if that seed is to become a plant or a tree, it must manifest. For this manifestation, energy is required, so that the seed may sprout, grow into a plant, and become a tree. In the same way, consciousness must expand and spread fully throughout our body, and then expand even further, until the power of consciousness rises through the Sahasrara chakra and merges with the cosmic energy. When this union of consciousness and the universal energy happens, then the state of Samadhi or ecstasy is attained. And only upon reaching the state of Samadhi does one have the direct realization of God. In that state, we truly come to know, who am I? We experience that the soul within us has evolved and expanded. At birth, the soul existed only in the form of a seed. But its development, the growth of that seed into full realization, must be achieved through many stages and disciplines. There are 7 steps in the development of consciousness. 3 steps go downward, 3 steps go upward, and 1 step is the point where you are born. If you observe a plant or a tree, you will see that it grows in 2 directions, its roots go downward into the earth, and its trunk and branches rise upward toward the sky. In the same way, the growth of our consciousness happens like that. First, we must develop the roots of our consciousness. The growth of roots is somewhat easier because it is simpler to go downward into the ground than to rise upward. So, at first, it is relatively easy for you to move from consciousness into the subconscious mind. From the subconscious, you then move into the collective unconscious, which contains the entire universe in its unconscious form. After that, you move into cosmic consciousness, and then into the unconscious of the Supreme, into the underworld unconscious. This is the downward journey. Even this downward journey is not simple. It can take many lifetimes to complete. But it is still the growth of roots, and the roots can relatively move downward with ease. After the roots have developed, consciousness begins to rise upward because nourishment has already been received from below. Then the individual consciousness moves toward the great consciousness, then into the cosmic consciousness, and finally into the universal or divine consciousness. In this way, as you go deeper below and then rise higher above, this 7-story structure of evolution becomes established within your being. When your entire existence becomes stable on all these 7 levels, you begin to understand yourself easily. Gradually, you exist both in the depth of the underworld and in the highest realm of the universe. Your journey continues in the sky-like expanse as well as in the depths of the lower worlds. In another sense, you will live in the world and also remain with the divine. Both states will be fully developed within you. When both these states are completely evolved, you will no longer be attached to either of them. You will remain in a state of detachment, for you will have experienced everything, you will have seen the underworld, you will have seen the earthly world, and you will have experienced the highest realms of the universe. Your consciousness will merge with the Supreme Consciousness, and whenever you wish, you will be able to dissolve your awareness into the Divine, and whenever you wish, you can return again into the body. Then the existence of this universe will become one with your own existence. All of this is the expansion of consciousness. In this expansion, the body plays an important role, food plays an important role, and most importantly, the more you remain in the state of awareness and stay established in consciousness, the greater your contribution will be to this divine growth. If within your lifetime you are able to do all this, and you can, it usually takes 12 to 15 years to reach these heights. No matter at what age you begin, if you do it with full dedication, in 12 to 15 years you can attain these states. Lord Buddha took 6 years, Mahavir took 12 years, and Yogananda took 12 to 15 years. If the influence of your past birth is favorable and your dedication remains strong, it may even happen sooner. When you reach this state yourself, you will still continue to live. Your life will then exist for the welfare of those who wish to attain this same state. You cannot force anyone to drink the water of truth. But if someone truly wishes to drink, you can bring him into full light. You can give him complete knowledge if he is genuinely willing and if his life is devoted in that direction. This is possible. Just as Ashtavakra found in King Janak such a great disciple whom he could lead to the highest realization. If even one such person appears in your life, then understand that you have fulfilled the will of the Divine. Through the grace of God, you have guided that soul to the Supreme. In this, the entire contribution belongs to the Divine. He is the giver, He is the doer. You are merely the medium. You are not the doer. You are simply the action itself, and the action becomes perfect only when the sense of doership disappears. So do all your actions with the understanding that you are not the doer, you are only the instrument. Then your own welfare will happen, the welfare of society will happen. And those who walk this path will be naturally dedicated to the Divine. First, understand all these things deeply, realize your soul, and then become one with it. We can become one with the soul, we can merge into its bliss. It cannot be fully grasped by the mind, because it is vast, infinite. To drown in it is to find everything. Beyond this, there is nothing more to attain. This alone is the purpose of life, and this should be the purpose, and all of it happens only by the grace of the Divine. A person can only make effort. You can plant the seed in the soil, you can give it a little water, you can add manure, but the seed becomes a plant by itself. The real creator is the Divine Himself. If you do even this much selflessly, with pure intention, then it will happen. Only when your intention is pure will you succeed on this path. If your intention is impure, your emotions are not right, then success is impossible. Do everything with pure feeling, and the divine will remain with you. The divine will pull you toward that supreme state. You will not need strength to go. He will draw you toward himself and merge you within him. Pray only for this, that he may draw you toward himself. Do whatever you can, and leave the rest to him. Pray to him and say, I have done all that I could, now it is for you to pull me. When he draws you, he will unite you with himself, and in that union, you will taste the nectar of immortality. Beyond that, there will be nothing left to attain in this world. Then, in complete peace, you will leave this body and dwell in the soul. Even while the body exists, you can dwell in that state. And when the time comes for the body to depart, it will leave in your full awareness. When your soul meets the divine while you are fully conscious, that is the state of complete liberation. And liberation does not happen only once, it happens many times during life, every time your life force unites with the divine. Finally, you will merge with God in full awareness and become one with him. Pray to the divine that he may pull you toward himself so that you may unite with him. Beyond this, there is nothing more you can do. After you have done all that is to be done, only prayer remains, and prayer holds immense power. If prayer arises from pure intention, after sincere effort, it is always fulfilled. There is no question of it not being fulfilled. Do not hold back any effort from your side, and surely you will unite with the divine. Thank you.